Tonight on 7 News, the sound of silence. 55,000 Victorians honour the fallen at the Shrine's dawn service before cheers match disrespectful boos.
Ben Robert-Smith makes a defiant stand just days after being freed from jail as Australians honour the Anzacs at Gallipoli.
Exclusive, the incredible emergency response to rescue a stick in the mud at Southbank.
Melbourne's hospitality turf war flares, but this time police were ready.
On tour with Trudeau, Canada's former PM mingles at Mecca and the MCG.
And all the footy fallout live from the ground after a Scott Pendlebury masterclass in the Anzac Day blockbuster.
This is 7 News with Mike Amor and Karina Carvalho.
Good evening. More than 55,000 proud Victorians have huddled in silence around the Shrine of Remembrance for a moving Anzac Day dawn service.
A handful of disruptors booed during the Welcome to Country, but they were quickly matched by cheers as Ben Robert-Smith made his own defiant stand just days after being freed from jail. Jordan Quinn begins our coverage.
Piercing the pre-dawn darkness, the eternal flame burned bright as 50,000 sets of eyes were fixed on the Shrine of Remembrance. The silence broken by a lone bugler. Then a sacred pledge.
They shall not grow old as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them.
A moment still haunting 111 years on, but only minutes earlier there was an act many believe broke the Anzac spirit.
I'm here to welcome everybody to my father's country. Beautiful Boomerang country.
A chorus of boos from a select few aimed at the Welcome to Country in Melbourne and in Sydney too. But at the shrine, shrouded in darkness, one was found out and quickly confronted. Still, Uncle Mark Brown was unfazed, defiant.
We gather in the respect of all of my people, my family.
As cheers and applause drowned out the hate.
People come here with an agenda. What they've done today is disrespected a lot of descendants of veterans and veterans that were here today.
Not only is it disgusting behaviour, it goes against everything Anzac Day stands for.
Disrespect at 3 RSLs too, targeted with sickening slurs.
As you can see, we've had a few cowards come by and desecrate our memorial. We were able to cover up the slogans for the service.
Vandals struck in the dead of night at Reservoir, Faulkner, also Heidelberg. 2 women have now been arrested and charged.
Makes you feel sad.
Marring a day that is so special to so many Australian families.
Dad was in Libya, Greece, Syria.
It was an honour to march alongside with him.
I feel very privileged to have it in my family, and so that's why I just come every year, support what he did for our country.
Strong support which was on display at the Anzac Day March. 10,000 active servicemen and women, veterans and their families took to the streets honouring the fallen.
For my grandpa here, Alan Rantel, he was part of the Tunnel Rats. I served in Iraq in 2003 and I've got my 2 granddaughters with me here. They're wearing the medals from their great-great-grandfather from the First World War.
It's cool when people are clapping.
And on the Gold Coast, our most decorated soldier stood tall among the crowd as he faces war crime charges.
I was always going to be here. We should never forget their sacrifice because it is enduring. They think about that every day. They live with that. They've given that to us and we owe them.
It's our time where we get to meet with our friends and then talk about all the stories that we have.
Come in, spinner! And another very Australian way to honour our Anzacs each year is a trip to the pub for a game of 2 Up. Many across Melbourne have been packed since this morning.
Particularly in World War I, it was a thing where diggers would relieve boredom.
A lighter end to the day that began in darkness.
Lest we forget.
Jordan Quinn, 7 News.
Flight chaos caused by the conflict in the Middle East is being blamed for a lower turnout than expected at the Gallipoli dawn service.
Around 1,800 people gathered on the Turkish coast for a service marked by emotion-charged tributes.
The Iran war kept numbers down, but not passion.
I'm not scared. We booked, we're coming, and nothing was going to stop us.
Don't forget, every soldier in the Australian Army always lives in the shadow of Anzac.
Turkish authorities upgraded security, troops in the hills and police boats patrolling off the coast. So many so determined to come on personal pilgrimages. Daryl Ventris honouring his great-grandfather's historic wound.
He got struck by a shell and then carted on Simpson's donkey, which is an iconic Australian story, and we're very thankful for it.
The crowd heard this special place forged a special bond between Australians and Turks.
That from great suffering, understanding can grow.
Tears for the fallen described as sacred.
They are the messengers of overwhelming grief and unspeakable love.
Australian government officials were surprised by the crowd, 1,791. 2,300 had actually registered. But this helped ease Ashley Warren's pain. She recently lost her partner Tulsa in an army vehicle accident. She came here to feel close to him.
It was a little bit hard, but it was absolutely worth it just to know that he's here with me.
In Gallipoli, Nick McCallum, 7 News.
From Gallipoli to the G, and more than 92,000 fans turned out for the traditional Anzac Day footy blockbuster. Theo Doropoulos is inside the ground, and Theo, there was no stopping the Magpies.
Oh, Mike, they were incredible, really. Led brilliantly by the ageless superstar that is the wonderful Scott Pendlebury. Now, he had the ball on a string, gathering more than 40 possessions, more than a personal best, a record day for him, taking out the Anzac Day medal. Collingwood really beginning to dominate this fixture. Now they've won 19 of the 31 games on this blockbuster occasion. Of course, on the annual day footy takes a back seat to our armed forces.
On the most meaningful day of the home and away season, Collingwood and Essendon fans were in nice and early. Young troops manning the badge stands, while those slightly older wandered in on their own time, proudly displaying their medals and those of family members before them.
They belong to my great uncle, who was killed at Lone Pine on Gallipoli.
Greg Perry played 63 games for the Bombers in the 70s and fought in the Vietnam War. He thought he was meeting 2 family members at the ground. Instead, 13 showed up to surprise him.
The Anzac spirit of courage, camaraderie, everything just is embedded in us growing up.
Anzac Day is getting bigger and bigger, and it's good to see the young ones now being taught about Anzac because the world's very topsy-turvy.
On field, both sides were out to mirror the spirit of the Anzacs.
Throw the gladiators out there and whoever has a crack gets the points.
It's truly a special day on the calendar.
But before the football battle lines were drawn, a moment of unity. A time-honoured tradition, the Essendon and Collingwood skippers shake hands before leading their teams through a banner covered in the names of footballing Anzacs. The MCG, it's humming now, but in a few moments it will fall eerily quiet. Over 90,000 in the stands, yet not a sound. Before Collingwood fans had the first roar, Roan Steele opening proceedings in his first Anzac Day game.
And he is up to it.
The youth of the Bombers foreshadowed a bright future.
And then around the body.
But ultimately, it was the classy veterans of Collingwood that came to the fore.
It's just such a day of great respect and high emotion on and off the field. Let's get to Xander Maguire now. Xander, home and away footy. It doesn't get much better than today.
Absolutely not, Theo. It's the most meaningful day, isn't it? Anzac Day, the day that every Collingwood and Essendon fan pencils in on the calendar. And have a look at these club rooms. Have you seen more phones getting ready to video the song? As I lower my voice, they're about to launch into full noise here in the Collingwood rooms. Kids in the circle there. Scott Pendlebury with both of his kids after an unbelievable effort. A career-high 43 touches, 2 goals, 19 score involvements, and we'll speak to him in sport there after one of the best games of his storied career.
Yeah, quite amazing, wasn't it? Thank you very much, Xander. Take care of yourself down there. Now we'll have plenty more footy later on in sport, including a fiery rev-up from the Hawthorn coach and a Mark of the Year contender from a high-flying demon. We'll see you from the MCG very soon.
And a happy Anzac Day birthday to you too. Thank you, Theo. See you soon.
Thanks, mate.
35,000 people attended the dawn service at the Australian War Memorial in Canberra. The Prime Minister led commemorations, placing a wreath at the Stone of Remembrance. RAAF Flying Officer Kabora Ali delivered the commemorative address. In 2001, the Australian Navy rescued her father, an Afghanistan refugee, at sea.
I get to carry the hope and now a promise to give back to a place I now call home.
Later, Veterans March with Governor-General Sam Mostyn and War Memorial Chair Kim Beazley watching on.
To the day's other news now. One of Melbourne's best-known night spots has been hit again in the latest flare-up of the suspected underworld alcohol war. It's the second time arsonists have targeted the bar in a week, but this time they were caught in the act.
From a pumping nightclub to a crime scene, Bar Bambi targeted again by arsonists. But this time they didn't get away. 3 youths caught in the act and taken into custody just after 5 this morning.
Kids being paid to try and burn down a building. It's very, very worrying.
It's alleged the trio smashed the doors of the venue and started pouring petrol into the foyer before they were spotted by a security guard. The city cameras also picking up the males loitering with fuel cans.
Our camera operators in the control room picked up a suspicious vehicle movement around ACDC lane. Instinctively, they knew something was not right. They got onto police immediately.
Their getaway cars seized, loaded onto a truck to be forensically examined. It's now the 19th incident linked to a suspected underworld alcohol war targeting well-known bars, clubs and restaurants, and a kidnapping in Springvale.
I've spoken to a few of our venues this morning and they're on their toes. You know, they'll be increasing security and responding accordingly.
Despite being left with a mess to clean up, the club is determined to reopen tonight. Police will also bolster their nightly patrols, not just here, but at other key venues across the CBD.
I do think we need to keep these acts in perspective. Melbourne is a safe city.
Geordie Wright, 7 News.
There's been a mighty mission to pull a mudlark to safety at Southbank. Live to Jacqueline Stanley. Jack, it was all hands on deck for this rescue operation.
A massive effort, Karina, but spare a thought for the specialist police officer that had to climb into a stormwater drain after this man. This is the moment that he finally emerged, barefoot and drenched in mud. Police were first alerted to his presence around 2:30 this afternoon, told a man had jumped into the Yarra River and crawled into a stormwater drain. They negotiated with him for almost 2 hours. The scene drawing a huge crowd of people here on Queen's Bridge and from the boats on the Yarra too. Just after 4, he was back on dry land, drying himself off with a towel before chugging down a bottle of water.
Yeah, pretty crazy. Yeah, I've never seen anything like that before. I mean, been here for a while watching. I wasn't really expecting anyone to pop out, but when they did, he was full dirty, covered in the whole Yarra River.
Police have told me that no offence was committed here, but the man is being treated in hospital.
A silly thing to do, but let's hope he's okay. Jacqueline Stanley at Southbank, thank you.
There are positive signs tonight in the on-again, off-again peace talks between the United States and Iran. Donald Trump says the regime wants to make a new offer, and he's sending his negotiators to Pakistan. But the Iranians are yet to confirm if they'll meet them.
3 days after pulling out of planned peace talks in Pakistan, a possible change of heart. Iran's foreign minister arriving in Islamabad.
The Iranians want to talk. They want to talk in person.
Donald Trump says they want to make a new offer, dispatching his negotiators. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and his son-in-law Jared Kushner will leave tomorrow.
We hope progress will be made and we hope that positive developments will come from this meeting.
But the minister's spokesman says he's there for talks with Pakistani mediators about ending the American-imposed war of aggression, and no meeting is planned to take place between Iran and the US.
I actually think that having indirect talks might be better. I'm not sure that having these people in the same room is actually a good thing.
In what is perhaps a telling sign that no major breakthroughs are expected, Vice President J.D. Vance, who led the US delegation the last time the two sides met, isn't travelling to Pakistan. Neither is Iran's top negotiator, Parliamentary Speaker Mohammad Ghalibaf.
We have all the time in the world, and we're not anxious for a deal.
Iran has consistently refused to negotiate until the US blockade of its ports ends.
If Iran is now coming to Pakistan and these talks happen, then they've blinked a little bit, and that's actually fairly rare.
The US keeping up the pressure.
A blockade as long as it takes. We are in control, nothing in, nothing out.
And it's about to get even more powerful, with a second aircraft carrier set to join in the coming days. In the United States, Rob Scott, 7 News.
A group of 13 women and their children linked to Islamic State have reportedly left their Syria detention camp and are attempting to return to Australia in a second bid for freedom. A government spokesperson tells 7 News our security agencies are prepared and anyone who has committed crimes will be prosecuted.
The AFL has sacked its appeals board chair with Will Horton KC over controversial comments about Lance Collard's suspension. The St Kilda player's ban for using a gay slur was slashed from 9 matches to 2 because the appeals board felt, quote, it's commonplace for players to employ language from time to time which is racist, sexist or homophobic on the field.
I think it was an embarrassing day for the players for roughly 6-7 hours while we had to stand behind that message that the appeals board gave out.
The AFL says homophobia has no place in Australian football. Political power broker Justin Trudeau had guests hanging on his every word on Bourke Street. Up next, hear his message to Melbourne women.
Also ahead on 7 News tonight, fists fly at a Kmart checkout in the Wild West.
The race to save a popular beach resort in Bali.
And just like a scene out of The Jetsons, flying cars given a test run down under. A wild scuffle has played out in front of shocked Kmart customers in Werribee. They watched on as a man clashed with a security guard inside the store. It's believed the confrontation began when the man tried to leave without paying for an item. Additional security guards were called in and the man was escorted out.
Former Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is embracing the Aussie spirit, marking Anzac Day at the MCG. He's in Melbourne pushing gender equality on a whirlwind visit without pop star girlfriend Katy Perry.
Canada's 23rd Prime Minister among 90,000 plus fans at the MCG during a whirlwind tour of Melbourne.
Justin Trudeau said MCG full house on a Saturday afternoon feels pretty good to me.
One of the world's most recognisable leaders in town campaigning for gender equality.
We all know how much damage the patriarchy has done to women. It is now astonishingly clear how much damage the patriarchy is doing to young men.
Alongside former Chief of Staff Katie Telford, they delivered the world's first gender-balanced cabinet in office.
When you're putting together a federal cabinet, why is there a question about
women being represented at that table in the same way.
But no sign of new flame Katy Perry, laying low amid allegations she sexually assaulted actress Ruby Rose at a Melbourne nightclub in 2011.
Trudeau's next stop is the Women Deliver conference here at the Convention and Exhibition Centre next week, discussing issues like climate, the economy and gendered violence.
Before he returns home to his California girls. Ainsley Kosh, 7 News.
Flames have torn through a popular tourist resort in Bali. The alarm was raised around 7 a.m. local time after fire could be seen coming from the second level of the main restaurant at Club Med in Nusa Dua. Emergency crews successfully put the blaze out. No one was injured.
Australian innovators are taking motor racing sky high, unveiling a new locally built flying machine. The creators hope this formula will literally take off and capture global audience.
Taking horsepower to new heights.
Racing flying cars just seems like the coolest possible thing that we could do with our time.
Airspeed are introducing its global flying remote piloted car racing series.
They get up to a good 150 odd kilometres per hour. And going around the bend today, we're doing some pretty tight manoeuvring.
Team Australia and Italia taking to the sky in a high-speed demonstration. But it's this, the world first MK4, designed to put a pilot in the driver's seat.
Designed and built and tested here in South Australia. This is actually the world's first flying racing car that's got its experimental certifications.
The electric aircraft able to race around 30 minutes per recharge.
Very literally, a racing car and a racing drone together. More than twice the power of the existing Mark IIIs that we've been racing today. It's got a more streamlined body.
And while it may look like science fiction, this is being billed as the future of motorsport.
Later this year, we'll start to see teams from around the world competing with this technology.
Look at the progression of Formula One. It makes sense that we're going to go into the air.
I absolutely think we'll see flying cars in the future, and not in the too distant future.
The grid has officially left the ground. Jonathan Edwards, 7 News.
Tyra Stowers is at the MCG with a look at the weather.
Tyra, we couldn't have asked for better conditions.
Yes, Karina, and it's still stunning out here this evening, as you can see around me. But how nice has it been to have the warmth stick around this time of the year too? Now, it was still a cool start on just 10.4 degrees before settling into the mid-20s today and finishing about 5 degrees above our average. Now, plenty of sunshine. Barely a cloud in the sky for the most of the big game today here at the MCG as Collingwood took on the Bombers. Now, the pleasant conditions are not slowing down anytime soon. I'll have all of those details for you after sport. Mike and Karina, how good?
We're loving the sunshine.
Very good.
Thanks so much, Tyra. A major tax shake-up is set to flip Australia's property market on its head. We'll break down what it means for buyers and sellers next.
Also ahead on 7 News, a cancer shock for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
The small French town beaming with Aussie pride on our most sacred day.
And the driver who learnt the hard way about the importance of a car's handbrake. Property investors are bracing for a shake-up in tax rules as part of next month's federal budget, with some claiming changes will make the market even tougher for first home buyers. In our final edition of Home Truths, a prominent buyer's agent says the rumoured policies risk creating an economy of haves and have-nots.
He's a former farm boy who ditched high school and took to buying and renovating rundown homes. Now, Sam Gordon says he owns more than 150 properties and a fast-growing buyer's agency. What does he want to see in May's federal budget regards housing?
Don't touch policy. Every time you touch policy, you stimulate the market. Every single time.
17 days to the budget, speculation has exploded around changes for property investors.
Would you support that, Barnaby?
I would not support a change in the capital gains tax at all.
One option, the 50% capital gains tax discount for investors could be dumped in favour of an inflation-based model. Also, possible changes to negative gearing. Speaking to 7 News podcast The Issue, Sam Gordon says, don't go there.
I would bet you $1 million. If they scrap negative gearing, we'll see one of the biggest rental price booms Australia's ever seen.
Prime Minister Albanese won't go into detail on budget plans, but does talk about
intergenerational equity
and not harming the hopes of those trying to buy their first home. But Sam Gordon argues the government's prized 5% home deposit scheme has already done that.
Crazy, absolutely crazy.
By driving up property prices.
I genuinely believe if things continue the way they are, we will move into a two-class economy of haves and have-nots.
Tim Lester, 7 News.
Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has revealed he's been diagnosed with prostate cancer. The 76-year-old says the tumour was discovered in its early stages during a routine checkup. The Israeli leader kept the diagnosis quiet for 2 months, so it wasn't revealed at the height of the Iran war. Netanyahu has since undergone radiation and is recovering well. A driver in China has learnt the hard way about the importance of pulling on the handbrake. She was dragged under her vehicle before a quick-thinking witness left his car to jump into hers, slamming on the brakes. The sacrifice of the Anzacs has stirred the souls of both the Australians and the French who paused at dawn at the Somme to remember.
Australia's incoming Chief of Army, Susan Coyle, declaring she'd remember the moving ceremony forever.
Walking on what was the Western Front, the site of both Australian military triumph and tragedy, as well as French gratitude to the 46,000 diggers who died defending their homeland.
Their sacrifices are firmly written in our history and forever in our hearts.
Australia's incoming Chief of Army, Lieutenant General Susan Coyle, France's Major General Anne-Cécile Autremont. The first time women have led defence delegations here.
It's just such a privilege, and to do it with Anne-Cécile together, 2 signals officers, very proudly standing here. It's something that we will remember forever.
It was at this moment 108 years ago when the fields of the Somme weren't still, but instead a picture of slaughter. And instead of a proud procession of Australians looking to honour their ancestors, it was nearly 2,500 diggers giving their lives for the freedom of the French. That sacrifice made on the 3rd Anzac Day, liberating Villers-Bretonneux and earning eternal gratitude. In Villers-Bretonneux, France, Ben Downey, 7 News.
Australians relying on wonder weight loss drugs have been dealt a fresh blow tonight. Details next on 7 News.
Also ahead, long-lost treasures found dumped in a Melbourne op shop finally returned to their rightful owner 700 kilometres away.
Australian Olympians lead tributes for the ultimate old salt.
And straight after sport, Prince Harry follows in the footsteps of his mother Diana.
Bitter news for those on popular diabetes and weight loss drug Mounjaro. With confirmation it won't be listed on the PBS for now. It means around 450,000 Australians will miss out on discounted access. Its maker, Eli Lilly, has been in a long-running pricing stoush with the federal government and has now walked away from negotiations. Many patients pay hundreds of dollars a month for the weekly injection.
7 missing war medals awarded to a true Aussie hero have finally been handed back to his family during a moving service.
Somehow they ended up for sale in a Melbourne op shop, but are now back where they belong, 700 kilometres away.
In the true spirit of Anzac Day, remembering a war hero whose medals were lost.
Honestly, it's amazing.
A year ago, these 7 decorations suddenly surfaced in a Melbourne op shop.
I know from my memories of my grandfather's medal, he served at Gallipoli, and I remember going to school with those medals and how much they meant to me, so I couldn't sell them.
A search for the owner found they were awarded to Warrant Officer Kenneth Peters from Adelaide, where only RSL President Peter Haverhook made it his mission to find the hero's family.
If my mother hadn't passed away, she never would have been listed and we never would have got the medals back to our family. So, you know, from sad things, good things come, and I think Mum's looking down on this today.
The This morning, Ken Peters' heroic accounts of his deeds as a tail gunner shooting down enemy aircraft were retold.
I let loose at 400 yards. I think I handled the initial burst, but he kept on coming. I was firing the whole time.
And it's my pleasure to now invite Jason and Liz to present Warrant Officer Peters' medals back to his family.
It's very emotional, and it's much bigger than me or the op shop.
Peter Caldecott, 7 News.
This week's Property Pulse includes a spot for your very own yacht right on the city's doorstep. Here's Sarah Jones.
Waterside living in Docklands has never looked so luxurious, with an opportunity to live an international lifestyle right here in the city. It's not every day a property comes with a 23-metre berth.
Just the thought of having a yacht parked outside the lounge room, which we've really enjoyed, but also we're real city slickers.
You can get home from work at 5 p.m. on a Friday and be out on the boat by 5:30. It's truly international living.
The keen sailors have called 42 South Wharf Drive home for 15 years.
We've got the buzz of the city literally at the end of the street. Theatres, restaurants, art galleries, and yet you sit in the lounge room and watch rowers glide past in the morning. It is so tranquil.
Inside is just as impressive.
We've got 5 bedrooms over 4 levels. We've got basement car parking. We've got wine cellars. We've got a gym area. We've got cinema space. We've got an outdoor pool.
The median price for a home in Docklands is $1.36 million. 21 have sold in the past 12 months, but not many are in this calibre.
The indicative selling price is $6.85 million to $7.5 million.
Buyers with big families and even bigger pockets are already inquiring, with inspections available by appointment.
We're sad to report tonight the passing of Australia's oldest Olympian, Gordon Ingate, who's died a month after turning 100. Only 2 weeks ago, Gordon was on Sydney Harbour speaking to 7 News, reflecting on great achievements like competing in the 1972 Munich Games, sailing America's Cup Challenges, racing against royalty, and in many Sydney Hobarts. Gordon told us he enjoyed a very fortunate life. That he did.
Let's return to Theo at the MCG. Theo, it's party time for the Pies.
Karina, an amazing day, really, full of emotion, respect, and the black and white army. They were up and about. They were a class above the Pies. Coming up after the break, we're live to the winning rooms after a day. A legend turned back time. Plus, where to now for the Bombers, beaten by a record Anzac Day margin. The Sam Mitchell rocket helps the Hawks sting the Suns. And just 'cause he can, Pickett with a Mark of the Year contender for the D's.
On 7 News, Sam Neill's toughest role yet.
The brave guinea pig.
How the legendary actor beat cancer.
It's not a miracle. It's science at its best.
The revolutionary treatment that's given him his life back.
Really, the last resort is the truth of it.
7 News Sunday, live at 6.
Welcome back. Scott Pendlebury has led Collingwood to its biggest ever Anzac Day win. The Magpies piled on 15 goals after half-time to run away 77-point winners, giving the Bombers a massive reality check.
Putting the league on notice on footy's most meaningful day, the Pies piling on the pain to the Bombers.
And he is up to it. What a start for that young man.
In his first Anzac Day clash, it was Rome Steele who struck first. Young bomber Archer Day Wicks made his mark too.
Day Wicks! Big Anzac Day climb!
The 19-year-old booting the Bombers 2 opening goals before a slow second quarter, just 2 goals for the whole term. Essendon's skills let them down, much to the disappointment of coach Brad Scott. The Pies up by 14 points at the main break, before Nate Caddy finally hit the scoreboard.
Goes back and finds the footy, Nate Caddy. And then around the body. Blistering start for the Bombers.
In game 431, Pies veteran Scott Pendlebury wound back the clock. And from the master to the apprentice, Angus Anderson found 2 of the Pies' next 6. Still, the baby Bombers wouldn't go away.
Cameron Kako! Something special! It needed that!
The margin blowing out to 43 points at three-quarter time, sparking Brad Scott's pointed message for his midfield. Things going from bad to worse, with Archimay ruled out with a left knee issue. 38-year-old Scott Pendlebury claiming his fourth Anzac Day medal in a 77-point victory, finishing the evening with 2 goals and a record 43 disposals. Kate Massey, 7 News.
Well, let's get back to, no doubt, very happy Xander Maguire. Xander, it was fitting today was dominated by a Magpies veteran.
Absolutely, Theo. It's his 4th Anzac medal, if you can believe that. It makes him the outright record holder for most Anzac Day medals. Him and James Hird formerly holding that title together with 3. It's 16 years after he won his first one in 2010. Just incredible scenes, an incredible game from Scott Pendlebury. The whole crowd chanting Pendles after the game. Justin Trudeau, the former Canadian Prime Minister, was in the Collingwood rooms after the game. He was actually Essendon's guest today, but he pulled the right rein and jumped ship to the winning rooms. Pies, 77-point win. The former record for an Anzac Day margin, 73 points. So a massive day for Collingwood. We caught up with Pendles and the Bombers defender Jackson Pryor a short time ago.
So it was one of those days where, I felt like the boys played an amazing brand of footy today, especially after half-time, and were able to get a lot of space on turnover. And sometimes the footy has a way of just finding you in the chain. And I feel like we played a really good team game.
When you look back across your career, though, do you feel like this is one of the best individual performances you've ever had? 19 score involvements, 2 goals as well.
I feel like any time we win, I'm happy, and if we lose, I'm miserable. So go home now and relax and put the feet up and chill out.
I'm not sure if we ran out of gas, but a little bit disappointing that we built some great stuff over the last couple of weeks and we weren't able to show that today on a big stage. But we've got 9 young guys who I think played in their first Anzac game today.
It's a 5-day break for Collingwood until they play Hawthorn here at the MCG on Thursday night. Pendlebury saying he's likely to be rested for that, Theo, which pushes back that record-breaking game another week. Back to you.
Thank you, mate. Well done, Xander. Thanks to Scott and the boys down there too. Now, Jack Gunston continues to defy Father Time, booting 5 goals to help the Hawks storm into the top 2. The 49-point thumping of Gold Coast creating even more headaches for Damien Hardwick. It was Launceston's turn to play host to the traditional Anzac Round tribute, premiership contenders putting footy aside to pay their pre-game respects. On a cool Apple Isle day, it was the Suns making a hot start. Lockie Weller kicking the game's first. Nick Watson sparking a 4-goal run as Jamara Ugle-Hagan announced his return to the big time.
First game for the Suns. Let me introduce myself.
Hawthorn's 14-point quarter-time lead exploding to 46 midway through the second, thanks in part to Jack Gunston and some poor Suns discipline.
Is that 50? Is that 50? You bet it is.
A fired-up Damien Hardwick getting his message across. The Suns piling on 4 straight, heading into half-time, cutting the margin in half.
Long may he run. He's got a couple.
If Hardwick was fired up, Sam Mitchell was livid at the main break. Ugle-Hagan again reminding the footy world what it missed, setting up Bailey Humphrey's second. Controversy around the stand rule rearing its ugly head. Dimmer's turn to lose his cool as the Suns lost touch.
How big is that?
The Hawks hitting cruise control, kicking 4-0 in the final quarter. 5 to Gunston, keeping their Launceston fortress intact. The 49-point win, Hawthorn's 6th straight. Cozzy Pickett starred in Melbourne's 54-point belting of Richmond here at the G last night. The D's midfielder booted 4 goals and had 29 disposals, as well as this Mark of the Year contender.
Pickett! Cozzy Pickett! Up to the boardroom!
That mark, much to the delight of his coach Stephen King. It wasn't all good news for the D's, though, with the luckless Jai Cully again rupturing his ACL. If that's the case, he'll sit out for the rest of the season. Carlos Alcaraz won't get to chase a French Open three-peat next month with the Spanish superstar out with a wrist injury. In Madrid overnight, Alex de Minaur's miserable form on clay continued.
Impressive. What up?
The Aussie world number 8 lost his second round match against Spanish teen Rafael Jorda in straight sets. A great day from The MCG, Justin Trudeau going from the Bombers to the Collingwood Rooms. Mike and Karina, you've got to know as a politician, keep your options open.
He's definitely done that. Theo, thank you and happy birthday again.
Thanks, guys.
Prince Harry has followed in his mother's footsteps, walking through an active minefield during a trip to Ukraine. In protective gear, he saw how drones and AI robots are changing clearance work. The Kyiv suburb was left littered with unexploded bombs and grenades after Russian occupation. It comes nearly 3 decades after Princess Diana's minefield walk in Angola, which brought global attention to the threat.
Let's head back to the G, where Tyra Stowers is standing by with the forecast. And Tyra, we all want to know, how long does this beautiful weather last?
Well, Mike, you'd think we were in Queensland with the week that we have forecast coming up. Mid-20s and sunshine. Doesn't get better than that. Those details for you next. Hello again, a cracking start to the weekend. Beautiful blue skies, sunshine and light winds. How nice has it been? Now 10.4 was the overnight low in the city, so still fresh, but we warmed up really nicely from there, reaching 25.6. So nice to be in the mid-20s this far into the year. Taking a look around the suburbs today, well, couldn't ask for better conditions. Winds have been north to northeasterly, reaching gusts of 35 k's in parts. Viewbank started on 8, then 2 in Coldstream, so pretty cold there. Further out, it was mostly sunny start to before the cloud increased from the west late today. Now, aside from that, it's been warm, light to moderate north to northeasterly winds. Bendigo was down to 5 degrees. Hello, Swan Hill, 8 there. That was the low. Now, there's still that high pressure system over the southern Tasman Sea, extending a ridge over the state. This will remain near stationary over the coming days, and it is what has been providing some consistent conditions for us. Around the country tomorrow, Brisbane showers, Sydney 25 but sunshine, Canberra 3 is the low, Adelaide 22 in showers, 27 in Perth and then cloudy in Darwin. Back home now, not as much sunshine tomorrow. We're looking at a partly cloudy day with isolated light showers, likely in the southwest, which should clear by lunchtime. A top of 26 in Yarrawonga. Closer in, partly cloudy, and our winds will remain northerly, so we have some warmth again. Most spots get to the mid-20s, some even nudging that 30-degree mark, 27 in Cranbourne. Take a look at our week ahead. This run of pleasant weather is really outstanding. Now 25 tomorrow, 21 on Monday, but take a look at all the sunshine for the week. 13 is the low on Wednesday and 23. 25 on Thursday, partly cloudy and 13. Then Friday is really shaping up to be my pick of the week with bright sunshine, not much cloud there, blue skies, 27 and some cloud returns for the weekend, 26. But as for tomorrow, well, we have another lovely day in the mid-20s with a little bit more cloud, but I am not complaining. It is time for Pet of the Week. Meet Thibodeau. This clever cookie might only have 3 legs, but he is all heart and still loves to play with his toys. Go for walks outside and meet new people. If you have a friendly dog at home already, Thibodeau would love to meet them too. He's just over 1 year old and as a part Kelpie, well, Thibodeau is a very intelligent dog who is already toilet trained and knows basic commands. So cute. Even with 3 legs, he still has a lot of love to give, Mike and Karina, and thank you for everyone's service this Anzac Day. Thank you.
Well said. Thank you. And that's 7 News for this Saturday. We'll have updates throughout the night.
For now, from the 7 News team, take care and good night.